Denny Blanco, brand new episode. It's in the game podcast here, recapping NFL Week 3. I got my man in the car. If you're watching live on YouTube and Twitter, we really appreciate your love and support. My man Raymond Santiago, ESPN New York in the building. Big time Cowboys fan. They're 1-2 right now. That's why he's hiding in the car. But before we get to him, if you're watching live on Twitter and X and YouTube, follow us on social media. Sir Denny Blanco on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Myself, Rainy J. Cruz, R-E-N-D-Y, letter J C-R-U-Z. Find the podcast on SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, also on Amazon Music. Go ahead, download, rate, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Show some love and support for your boys on the program. YouTube.com/Cruise Control Podcast. If you're watching live, got any questions, we'll get it to you on the air. Denny Blanco, my man, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm just, when you get a guest in the building who's been going through some turmoil, you just allow them to come into your boat and put their feet up, and you try to get an idea of how they're feeling, and maybe you can help them work through it. So Randy, I think we're gonna help Ray out a little bit. We're just gonna talk to him a bit. Go ahead. What's up, Randy?
Ray, I think what Dennis is saying, this is more like a therapy session. If you want to vent, your frustrations and get your anger out the way. I know it's early. It's only week 3, so you guys got a lot of time to turn things around. But as of right now, you're the Cowboy fan, 1-2. Money going to CeeDee Lamb, money going to Dak Prescott. It's early, but what are you seeing so far? And then how do you prepare for tomorrow against the New York Giants on Thursday Night Football?
Well, first of all, y'all missed the opportunity. Y'all wanted to get distraught Ray, emotional Ray. Y'all should have hit me up on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Like those are the days I was in my feelings, man. Because I mean, one more needs to be said. Look at those last 2 games, man. Defense is playing atrocious, and not for nothing. It's not even like you could point to, the scheme is messed up, or they're not doing this, they're not filling their gaps. Yeah, it's all of that, but a lot of their mistakes, man, that they happen right now is just like basic Pop Warner. I ain't gonna curse that. I probably won't curse. I'm still gonna ESPN. But Pop Warner stuff that you learn. Like in the NFL, you're not supposed to be working on fundamentals and developmental. You're supposed to know what you do. Go look at that first touchdown that they led up to Lamar Jackson. Micah Parsons, one of your best players. Micah Parsons, DeMarcus Lawrence. Those are your 2 best players on defense, and they were playing like they never seen a zone read before. Like that's inexcusable. So I don't know what's going on there. Like I ain't gonna question their effort. It's too early for that. But like defensively, they got to get their heads up out, man, because it's not pretty right now. The good news is usually if you got to play a quick week, so you're gonna turn around on Thursday. B, it's an opponent that you should be a better team than. That hopefully you ain't gonna turn around everything in 3 days. You ain't gonna do that. But hopefully you can get a little bit of that run defense on track.
And of course, the Giants are riding high after a victory over Cleveland, so they're on the board. And listen, there are a few teams out there that are pretty good that have no wins right now. Cincinnati and a bunch of other people. So the Giants got a dub, Cowboys got a dub, but going into tomorrow and seeing what you guys have been doing so far is like, I go back to the game where you beat Cleveland week 1. I'm like, okay, cool, great. Then week 2, you guys had what'd you have week 2?
Saints.
Oh,
the Saints came marching in.
You give up 47 to the Saints.
They didn't force a punt for 3 quarters, bro. They did not force a punt for 3 quarters. So
and that game reminded you and me of the playoff game with the Packers last year, by just giving up a lot of points, and it's like at home, and it's like, all right, okay, that's probably an anomaly. And then you come back in week 3, then you take a loss there.
It's not an anomaly. It's not an anomaly now. Like you're talking about, it's the Shanahan coaching tree because Matt LaFleur and who my man is coaching the Saints right now. Why am I drawing a blank? Kubiak. Like that's Kubiak, yeah. So they come from the same tree, and that's like I said, that zone type of reads, like clearly that's a problem for them right now because that LaFleur all the same stuff. That But Baltimore don't run that scheme. Now, Baltimore is a completely different animal because they got Lamar and nobody else got Lamar. Also, and Derrick Henry, who cooked us. Way to go, Jerry. Way to not give him any money. But there's stuff that's common factors here for sure. But again, like I keep going back to this, like fundamental things. You should be able to stop the run. You should be able to set the edge as your edge rushers, and you should be able to make tackles. Like the missed tackles is crazy. And this is where Giants fans should feel pretty good about it, because I think Devin Singletary is like third in missed tackles right now through 3 games. So like if I was Brian Daboll, I know what I'm doing in this game. Like I know how I'm attacking. I'm not putting the game in Daniel Jones's hands. I'm running the ball, bro.
So before Denny goes, are you when Derrick Henry was available? Were you telling people? Were you tweeting out that the Cowboys should take a look at him? Should they acquire him? Because at the time, I'm trying to figure out what was your needs of like offense, defense. Were you a fan of like we need this guy, or like, hey, if he goes somewhere else, I'm okay because we might get somebody else? Like, how do you feel about Derrick Henry not even probably getting a sniff at the Cowboys?
See, I got pretty sure that I was not really tweeting an opinion on it. I kind of, if anything, was probably the latter. Was like, okay, if he wants to come, like bring him in, like, and it looked like he wanted to come. He lives down there, but like if he wants to be a Cowboy, like, and the money's right, why wouldn't you do it, right? But I was also thinking like, okay, well, it's early on. Jerry doesn't like to spend money on outside players in the off season. So like their MO is like they just draft and they keep their guys. We like our guys. That's what they always say. So my assumption was that, okay, we're going to hit the draft. We'll find the running back there, or we can get another running back later, like a Zach Moss or something like that, could fit the mold. And we add a little juice in the backfield because, mostly it's the same backfield that they've been having. The difference is Tony Pollard is the dude with the juice, and he's in Tennessee right now. So I'm not going to sit here and say that I was jumping on the table like, oh, why ain't you bringing in Derrick Henry? Because I know how the team operates. I know their MO. But it's one of those things, not a head scratcher, because again, we know who they are, but they should have done it, obviously, in hindsight. Even in foresight, why wouldn't you do it?
Denny Blanco, go ahead.
Ray, thanks for coming on. We appreciate you. I'm looking into the future. Denny Blanco, J. Cruz, It's in the Game podcast. I'm looking to the future of the Dallas Cowboys, and let me tell you, it seems discipline is a problem number one. Discipline defensively.
Welcome to 2024, man. Discipline been a problem there for about 30 years, bro. The only time it wasn't a problem was when Bill Parcells was there. And that was 4 years.
I was trying to save you, but I guess yes, you're 100%. You're 1,000% correct. The Giants may not run the ball. Okay, now Giants may not run the ball, but the Steelers, who are coming, they're going to run the ball. The Lions, they're going to run the ball.
You're spitting facts.
They're going to run the ball.
We know. Yeah, we know. We've seen it. It don't look good. That's kind of why Thursdays they're in a must-win situation, man. They can't mess around here. So you everything you're saying is facts. Everything is facts.
100%. You guys, discipline obviously is going to be an issue. The next couple of games is going to, besides the Giants, you toss a coin. But the next three defensively, obviously it's a matter of. When it comes to the running game, defensively, you guys can't stop it, and then that puts a lot of pressure on your $1 million man, or men, I should say, Dak and CD, who have no rushing offense to speak of.
Nope.
You have no. So I have to ask the question: where do you see them in the next 6 games? Because they may be 1-5, maybe.
Yeah, if they lose this game, if they lose this game, they're in trouble. They're real trouble.
The Giants game.
You got the Giants. So you got Pittsburgh, Detroit, San Francisco. Who's after that?
It goes Pittsburgh Lions, Falcons,
then 49ers. Yeah. Okay.
No, Giants, Pittsburgh, Detroit, San Fran, then Atlanta.
San Fran, then Atlanta.
Yeah.
Oh, who's after Atlanta?
After Atlanta, it is the Philadelphia Eagles in Dallas.
I mean,
then the Texans.
I mean, bro, like, what more needs to be said, right? Like, you got to pull it together. And yeah, their offense is structured in a way, like I should say, the whole team is structured in a way, and this is easy to see that their MO, they got to get the lead. So Dak has to do what he's got to do. CD's got to do what he's got to do. Get a lead and then turn the pass rush loose. That's how they find success. But how you going to turn the pass rush loose if you don't have the lead because you're getting the ball run down your throat every single drive? So yeah, you could see what the problem is. Listen, I got all the faith in the world in Dak Prescott. I don't gotta go. Y'all know how I feel about him. I think him and CD, like, they always start slow. Like, that's just facts of life with them. They always start a little bit slow. Then they get through the first month, and then the offense catches fire. So they'll probably do that again. But it becomes a lot harder to catch fire when you're in a position of trailing. So it's all gonna come down to what the defense can do and whether they, like I said, pull their heads out. Because if they ain't doing that, they ain't going nowhere. That's facts. But even if they do, they're still like I said, they're still built the same way. They're going to run into a team like that in the play. Let's say they win 10, 11, 12 games again. They could do that. But if they do, they're going to run into those same type of teams. All those teams we just mentioned, they're going to run into those teams again in the playoffs. What do you think those teams are going to do?
Run
it's
the
right
ball.
there.
Yep. Pretty much.
So I mean, Bill Belichick, if you're listening, I mean, I don't know.
Listen, I've been seeing a lot about that. I've been hearing about it. Stephen A. on the First Take and everything. Like,
saying what exactly about Bill Belichick?
It's like probably. I don't think for this year, but like maybe Bill Belichick should be the head coach of the Cowboys. Jerry Jones should get rid of Mike McCarthy. Now, is that the answer? Like, Belichick ain't out there playing D and doing all that. It's a start, but it's like you still.
You know why? You know why it could be the answer. You know why it could be the answer and why it won't happen probably? Because I'm under no illusions. And if you listen to the show in the morning, DNR, DPH and Rothenberg, like Dave always said, like, oh, y'all should get Belichick. And I'm like, yeah, look, listen, I would love Belichick. I just don't see it happening because even though Bill loves Jerry and Jerry loves Bill and they're Matt Chiller, looks like a good fit. I mean, if Bill Parcells could do it, Bill Belichick could do it. But Jerry, and every time he goes on media and he does this sort of like, listen, I want to win the Super Bowl more than anything in this world. Anytime he tells you that, brother, he's lying to you because he'd be happy to win a Super Bowl. He will be happy to win a Super Bowl. Don't get me wrong. But he's good with where the status quo is right now, where they're winning enough games to be relevant, sell merchandise, be the most valuable team in professional sports in North America, and draw the ratings and draw the gate and all that stuff. That is more important to him. If he wins a Super Bowl, that's fine. But he does not want to win if it's not winning his way. And don't get me wrong, like that's not like he got a medal, he got to have his hands in everything. Because like at the end of the day, if we're being real honest, almost all the owners are like that. They gonna want their hands in everything. Jerry's just more upfront about it. But Jerry also, he wants to win while having fun. And with Jimmy's a disciplinarian. He ain't want any of the BS. Big Bill, was disciplinarian. He did not want to deal with the BS, all the TO circus and all that stuff that was going on. So and Belichick ain't gonna want to deal with it either. Belichick gonna be about football. Hey, he's coming here. Hey, I'm trying to beat Don Shula. I'm trying to get the coach's record here, man, and I'm trying to prove that I could win without Tom Brady. I like what I see here. Bill is gonna get. You think he was sick of Robert Kraft? He's gonna get sick of this dude real quick, and vice versa. Jerry don't like being told what to do by his coach. Like, you bringing the Prince of Saudi Arabia on my side, bro? GTFO, bro, get lost. So, like at the end of the day. Yeah, he wants to win a Super Bowl. That'd be nice, but he's already in the Hall of Fame with his 3 rings. What does he need another one for? Like, if he gets it, it's nice. It's whatever. It's whatever.
But Ray, I tell you why, bro. The Dallas Cowboys. Listen, I want to say on the record, I'm a Viking fan. I have not seen a Super Bowl in my life for the Vikings.
Y'all looking nice right now, by the way. Not for nothing. Y'all looking pretty nice. And this is not like a couple years ago where y'all were beating up on paper tigers. Y'all look good. Y'all making Sam Darnold look like a quarterback, bro.
My man's an MVP conversation. But my point is, at least I see my team in the NFC Championship in the last couple of years. And I'm like, Dallas Cowboys, since '95 have not been to the Super Bowl or NFC title game. And I'm
who you telling?
No, I'm just saying. You saying why Jerry's a Hall of Famer? Does he need one? Yeah, he wants to see one more at least. Let me fight, let me battle for the championship. Let me get him.
He wants to, but he don't want to that bad. Not that bad.
But I tell you why.
Because if he did, he will hire that type of coach. Because again, like this is not to disparage Mike McCarthy and Jason Garrett, even Wade Phillips. They're all good coaches. They all got winning records. Mike McCarthy won a Super Bowl. You can say what you want. Oh, it's Aaron Rodgers. Aaron ain't won one without him yet. So, so Mike McCarthy is at least on Sean Payton's level. That was another dude that everyone said, "Oh, bring Sean Payton back." Mike McCarthy and Sean Payton, look at them side by side, bro. They ain't really a difference between the two of them. So they're good coaches, but they're not dudes that's going to crack the whip. That's going to not. We ain't having this. We need to be focused. Like we're not going to have players going to Cabo before a playoff game. We're not going to be, giving tickets to an NFC Championship game that doesn't exist here. Like that stuff is not happening with a Bill Belichick type of coach. So that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. It's about the coaching at the end of the day. And that's where the discipline comes from. And for the past 30, whatever, how many years it's been, that's what's set them, because they got all the resources, bro. They got all the resources the team would need, not just to be good, not to be a Super Bowl, but to be a Super Bowl contender year after year after year, because they draft better than anybody. They got amazing scouting. They got the best facility in football. They probably got the best stadium in football. They make more money than everybody. Oh, and by the way, there's no state tax in Texas, so it's attractive automatically. So, like, they got everything you need. They just don't have the coach.
And before Denny goes, I'm going to say two things. One, they kept Garrett too long. That's my opinion. That they kept.
Well, that's his boy. That was his boy. So
okay, and Romo, but and I feel like the reason why you won't see Belichick there because it's like Jimmy Johnson. It becomes power, becomes ego, it becomes all right. If I bring Bill Belichick in here and he turns the shit upside down, they're gonna put all the credit to Bill Belichick. They're not gonna come to me. So now he wants the credit. He wants to be the guy that turned it around. But you bring a six-time Super Bowl champion to my roster, and they win. It goes.
I used to have that mentality. About it. Oh, he wants the credit, but like I really think like just 30 years of being exposed to it, like it's not so much about the credit, because at the end the owner gets the credit for hiring the guy anyway. Like who cares? Like bro, you get the Super Bowl, like it's you made the hire. It's the same thing. So I don't think it's about the credit. I really do think it's about like just like he wants to enjoy every aspect of it as he can as the owner. Like okay, that's your right. But he oversteps his bounds a little too much. Like no other owner's doing those post-game interviews outside the locker room. No other coach is going on the radio week after week. Like so owner, I should say, not coach. But like, so nobody else is doing that. And, coaches get sick of it. I know McCarthy's sick of that, but what's he gonna do about it? Like not to say about like he's in the last year of his contract. So that's another thing. That's why McCarthy's job is in trouble. He ain't gonna fire him. He gonna do the same thing he did to Garrett. Let the contract expire, let him twist in the wind for a couple weeks. It'll be the same thing. No different.
Denny, go ahead.
It's funny. We were previously talking about obviously we're all wrestling heads, and we're talking about the Vince McMahon documentary previously before we got on, and I see a lot of similarities between Jerry Jones and Vince McMahon in reference to how they want to conduct business. It's going to be on their own terms. No one's going to convince them otherwise. And if there are mistakes made, guess what? There aren't mistakes. They're learning opportunities. And you just put your head down and you move forward and you act like it never happened. So, I say all that to say, what are you expecting the score to be tomorrow? Giants, Cowboys. Can you give me, is it going to be close?
Well, first of all, we've been learning for 30 years, man. Like, how much more can I learn at this point in time, right? But for tomorrow, what's the line's back up to 5.5? I think I saw, but like I think it opened at 6.5 and it got down to 4.5 at one point. So like people were hitting the Giants, and then I think common sense kind of came forward. Listen, as a Giant fan, there's reason to be excited about the direction the team is headed. Because we didn't even talk about it. Y'all got a stud, man, in Malik Neighbors. That dude is going to be a beast. He's Odell Beckham part 2. You just got to avoid all the other Odell stuff. But like talent wise, my man my man's a baller. Like he made Daniel Jones look serviceable the other day. So this is probably the best opportunity that they've had to beat a Dak Prescott led team like since he was a rookie. And that's what, 16? We're 8 years later now. So like they should feel good about that. But I'm trying to be objective about this, man. I'm not trying to be a fanboy about this. Like,
I know.
facts.
I hear you.
So I just look at it, and I know what should be the case is that Dallas should win the game by at least a touchdown. They should.
They should.
But if they're gonna come out and play the same brand of defense that they played in those last 2 games, it ain't gonna be like that. They might still win, but it ain't gonna be comfortable. And that's why, like I was saying, as a fan, like approaching Thursday night, like it's a no-win situation. They should win. They probably will win, but I'm probably gonna walk away from the game like pissed off about something, because that's just how it's been for me lately.
Randy, Ray, you mentioned neighbors, guys. Everyone who's watching It's in the Game podcast. Randy J. Cruz, Ray Santiago. We're here in the building. I want you guys to understand, Giants fans. Ray mentioned we have one in neighbors. You guys have one in neighbors. I get scared for you Giants fans when there's a star on the team. The history that I've seen with the Giants, when they put a stamp on a star, minus Eli. When they put a stamp on a star, all of a sudden, I'm like, would this guy please just retire with this team? Never. You see Odell, gone. Okay, gone. Then you get Saquon. Huh? Gone. You watch neighbors with 3-year deal, maybe? Was that the rookie deal? 3-year deal? Okay.
You get 4 year. You get 4, and then you get the 5th year option. So.
Giants fans, 4 years. Good luck. I pray to you. I do the sign of the cross. Okay, he's out of there. He's gone. Okay, he's gonna get all the. He's going to build his cachet and his numbers and his value, and then he's going to bounce because Daniel Jones is not the answer. And I don't know if you're gonna have an answer for neighbors. Randy,
you mentioned Saquon. I'm gonna get to him in 2 seconds, but Ray, is the NFC East is interesting now because Dallas 1-2, Giants 1-2, Philly 2-1, and the Commanders are 2-1.
Commanders look sexy
with Daniels at quarterback. They just beat the Bengals on Monday, so this division has always been tricky, up and down. You never know who might win, but this is probably, if I'm wrong, tell me, but probably one of the most competitive divisions we've seen from this division so far in a while, right?
Yeah, I mean, the only other year where it was actually kind of competitive was the 2020 because all the teams in the division sucked ass that year. I think they all finished under 500. I forget who won the division that year. Was it? I think it was. Was it Washington?
Maybe Washington.
I don't even remember because it was 2020. Like
2020. Maybe was Cousins.
No, Cousins was in Mini already at that point.
Yeah, he was in Mini.
So yeah, man, that was the year Dak broke his leg. So that was that year was ugly, man. Yeah, other than that,
2020, oh my God, 2020 Washington football team at the time, 7-9.
Right. They won the division?
That's 7-9.
Yeah, so there you go. Like I couldn't even believe that. But they got beat by Tampa. Oh yeah, you know what it was? It was my man, the bottom of the depth chart quarterback. Was it Brandon Allen? The quarterback
for Washington.
For Washington. Yeah, but they got beat by Tampa Bay, I think it was in the first round, right?
Yeah.
I think it was. So yeah, like what goes to show you, like it's just like every year it's really kind of been, with the weird exception, it's really been Dallas or Philadelphia going back and forth at the top. Washington, they look like they're a problem now, man. And it's only 3 weeks in. I don't want to go overboard and pat myself on the back here, bro. But I was going into the draft like Caleb Williams was getting all the hype. But I was saying like, man, I don't know, man. I like the Daniels kid better. And right now, I mean, it's early, but like it looks like it's a no-brainer right now. It looked like it could be a repeat of last year. So
I want you to, real quick, because it's in my head. I want you to take me back to when Barkley goes to Philadelphia.
mm-hmm.
Why the Giants did not keep him? I think I should know why, but I'm saying I want you to explain to the audience. And I know you're on DiPietro and Rothenberg. I know the call has got to be like they see Saquon doing this every week, and it's like, man, how can we keep him? We should have paid him. Don't keep Daniel Jones. But what are the fans telling you and the crew about Barkley in Philadelphia and why he's not a New York Giant today?
Well, I feel like Hard Knocks kind of pulled back the curtain on that a little bit this year because you saw the conversations that Joe Shane was having with John Mara. And like, look, if it was down to it, Mara wanted to keep him. And I think if the Giants wasn't on Hard Knocks this year and John Mara could be free to operate a little bit, because I go back to like the meddling owner thing. I think John Mara meddles as much as any owner. He's just not as upfront about it. If John Mara had his way, Saquon still be a Giant, I think. But Joe Shane, he didn't want to put that type of money to a running back. It is what it was. He made that point. Go ahead, Denny.
Mr. Shane, his title is what?
It's GM, I think, president of football ops. So
correct me if I'm wrong. The owner wanted to keep the player, but the GM said not to, and the owner was like, okay.
That's how they portrayed it. Yeah. That's how they put it out there. And again, I think if the Giants were not on Hard Knocks and there wasn't cameras in the room, maybe it's a different conversation. But I truly think that Mara wanted to keep him, and he would have given him that contract. And it's not like the Giants couldn't afford to do it. It's not like they're spending crazy money in other play. Like Brian Burns is getting a lot of money, but Daniel Jones, like based on quarterback contract, it was $40 million. Like, look at the league now, man. Dudes are making 50, 55, 60 already. And like in a year, it's going to be 75 million these dudes are making. So, it's really not a lot of money. And the cap going up, by the way. Cap going up again.
I have a problem. That's a different conversation for a different day. I'm gonna back up and I'm go forward. Shout out to Daniels in Washington. He made a hell of a throw under duress, touchdown to McLaurin, I believe his name is. I may have to say
Scary Terry. Just call him Scary Terry.
McLaurin.
McLaurin. Tremendous
that
throw.
Was a sick throw, bro. Sick throw.
You know what I'm talking about, right? The one he's getting the safety's coming down right in his face, and he literally threw it and got smacked, and it was a perfect pass.
On the dime.
Now, you mentioned something very important that I'm seeing, obviously, in the last couple of years of watching the NFL. Yes, the QB market has exploded. And whether you want to blame, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it was Burrow. I don't know if it was you want to go to Burrow. You want to go to Mahomes.
Trevor Lawrence is another one. Trevor Lawrence getting 55 mil, bro.
Okay, 0-3. Them and the Bengals 0-3.
Okay, Trevor Lawrence. There's a couple of people out there. So I'm saying all this to say, owners are seeing this money being spent for the quarterbacks, but they're not getting any return on investment. Okay, but you got running backs like Saquon getting hammered, right? I'm talking about the running back position, or for example, shout out to my man Derrick Henry. Okay, over in Tennessee. Okay, you know what happened to him if you don't know. Over in Tennessee, and they paid a wide receiver quarterback more money than him.
Facts.
Wide receiver turned quarterback. They and this is after Derrick Henry showed you he was Derrick Henry.
This is why
man's a bully.
It's gonna get very interesting, like this offseason and going forward, because like we spent like the past 15. Maybe not that many, but like 10, 15 years talking about like, the running back is the value. I actually used to follow a bunch of people that they had the Twitter hashtag RBs don't matter. And like, that's the direction it was going. Like, hey, you can plug anyone back there and you straight, like the game is all about passing. But like the way football works, it all works in cycles. And if you're watching the game so far this year, like there's more of an emphasis on the running game. Like Mel Kiper made all that the headlines last week because he talked about like, oh, eliminate the cover 2 shell. But teams are running out these cover 2s, these cover 4. They just hanging back and they're saying, yo, you're not gonna beat us deep. Like that's just everything's gonna be underneath. And when you do that, when you pull the safeties back like that, what does that give you an opportunity? Run the ball, man. Defense is getting smaller, is getting lighter.
Yeah.
A running back like Derrick Henry should be feasting on that week in, week out if that's how you're going to play. So I'm interested to see if now we're going to get that market correction because the hypothesis was always that, well, a running back's got a very limited shelf life. If when he hits 30, game over, like just because of the beating that they take. They lose something. Look at Zeke Elliott, for example, because Zeke Elliott took a beating and he's not as big as Derrick Henry. But like those first 3 years of Ezekiel Elliott, like there was probably not a more complete dynamic back in the league, but he took a beating. And not only that, but he was also a pass blocker, literally putting his body on the line for his best friend, Dak Prescott, week in, week out. And so and look at him now, man. Like my man is averaging like 3.3 yards a carry. And he ain't even 30. So, but you see more use of the 2-back system, which I think is the way to go. Like you should be able to find 2 guys. Like the goal for me to do like what the Jets are doing. You got a speed guy and you got a power guy in Braylon Allen and oh my God, why am I Breece Hall? So like that's kind of what you should be shooting for. But I am interested to see when Breece's contract comes up, like what the Jets do, because he's going to command at least that Saquon Barkley money. And so will the Jets say, no, we got Breece on his rookie contract, we'll just draft another one? Like this is the truth for how running back, or will they give Breece a bag and say, hey, like let's ride it till the wheels fall off? Because like everyone pays attention to the big contracts that they get, but what matters is the guaranteed money. And at a certain point, you can cut yourself free. I say this all the time, man. We always talk about like, oh, the salary cap. This is what pisses me off with the Cowboys, getting back to them. Oh, the salary cap. Well, we can't afford the bro, bull. Y'all can afford any contract y'all want to. You can manipulate the salary cap any way that you want to. So if you need to pay a running back a little bit of extra coin, you could do that. So I'm interested to see. I don't even know who's a free agent like coming up this year for running backs, but like I'm real interested to see like what type of contracts get given out to the running backs this year, because maybe that cycle's coming back. And I'm not saying we go into the early 1990s where it's Emmitt Smith running the ball 30 times a game and scored 25 touchdowns. I don't think we're ever going to see that again. But like we could see a little bit more respect, rightfully so, being given to the running back position.
Randy, before you go, the concept of the quote unquote conversation, it's a copycat league, right? But we're 3 weeks into the league, and those that are winning seem to have the same formula every single week. Play defense, don't turn the ball over, control the ball, make great passes, end the game. You're probably going to win. So when you hear about this, you only got one running back, you don't have 2 explosive backs, and then you hear folk conversations about, oh, you're never going to win a championship in this era just by passing. You need a running back, someone who's reliable, someone who can block, maybe someone who can be a Saquon, if you will, perfect example, or a McCaffrey. Or excuse me, you see what McCaffrey or Saquon can do for a quarterback, for the receivers, open it up. So it's going to be interesting next couple of years, and as the markets come up and open, how they treat these other, because the wide receivers is getting paid.
That's the thing. To that conversation, like for a long time, those dynamic athletes, it used to be the best athlete on your team was playing running back in the day. Then when we started having that conversation, all the great athletes was becoming wide receivers. Like none of the wide receivers are really big anymore. Like they all like 6 foot tall, like the best playmakers. Like, so they're like in that range. If you put a little beef on them, they'd be running backs. But could we see that dynamic shifting again if running backs start to get paid a little bit more? That's why I say like I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know. I'm not going to pretend to say like, oh, the GMs is going to dole out money this year, but I'm real interested to see how it plays out. I'll be paying attention to that.
You mentioned Breece Hall earlier. Perfect segue to the New York Jets, the other team in New York. We've seen Aaron Rodgers come back from last year's injury. I'm glad he's back. What have you been able to see from Aaron Rodgers, A-Rod, so far in 3 games? And if he remains healthy, which I hope he does, how far can the Jets really go?
All right, well, I'll say this. The first 2 games, Aaron Rodgers, let me give you the disclaimer because I listened to him the entire offseason. Aaron Rodgers is probably the most brilliant mind in football right now as far as players go, because like he just understands everything. He knows everything that's going on in the field at all times. And he's just brilliant. Like he had an interview with Alan Hart and Bart Scott, like at training camp. And like I hadn't really listened to him talk football because every time, you were hearing from Aaron Rodgers, it was other nonsense, like stuff I don't want to hear about. Like I don't need to hear Aaron Rodgers talking about this. But like it reminded me, like, bro, this dude is a savant. Like I could listen to this dude talk about football for hours. Just football. Because he's that brilliant.
Yeah.
Coupled with that, he's older. My man still got a cannon. He can make any throw on the field. The question was, okay, A, is he going to be healthy coming off the Achilles? B, is he going to have that level of mobility at 40 years old coming off that injury? And so the first 2 weeks, I didn't really see it as much. He looked like he was tentative. Last week, he looked like that dude again, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was throwing dimes. He was moving in the pocket. He was hitting these throws off his back foot. If you get that Aaron Rodgers all year long, Jet fans can get excited. Y'all can legitimately get excited because you have those pieces. You have a good offensive line. You got the running back that I talked about. You got a stud wide receiver. You got the defense. Dudes they get hurt, but you got the pieces like that. That is enough to make a Super Bowl run, no doubt about it. If Aaron Rodgers gives you that, and I'm gonna out myself that I wasn't really a believer in the Jets actually being able to do that because I thought that, Zach Wilson trash, bro. Like we'll call it what it is. My man was trash, and any quarterback that they ran out last year at that, it was not a pretty quarterback situation. All they needed was average quarterback play, and they probably would have been a playoff team, right?
Mm-hmm.
But my thing was, I didn't think that Aaron could come back healthy. Like I thought maybe he's fooling himself. Like we have to see. But like from what I've seen so far, that's a complete team there, man. And they really got a shot. I'm not saying it's going to end there because it's so early, and we got to see how he holds up the whole season long because he's going to take shots. He knows how to avoid them, but everybody's going to get hit at some point, and so we'll see how that holds up. But he takes care of himself, and he looks good, man. He looks good.
And I'll tell you one thing, Ray. I don't know how it could happen or when, but if they can get a certain somebody out of Vegas to go play Aaron Rodgers.
Well, they're about to have a fire sale in Vegas, so it looks imminent. I don't know, man. I don't know.
I am no Raiders fan, but I'm like, yo, you beat Baltimore 1 week. Great win. Then you drop the ball against whoever they lost to. I'm like, yo, I just go like this all the time. And Devontae Adams is just chilling there like, get him out. Get him out. He can't Minshew, get him out somehow, some way, put him back with Aaron Rodgers. And if you do that, New York Jets. But how do you do it?
It's Super Bowl or bust. They get him as Super Bowl or bust. No doubt. At that point, you don't want a Super Bowl massive failure.
They beat Baltimore previous to that, and then they lost to the Panthers. That's when
Carolina. Come on now.
Andy Dalton rained on him, bro.
Come on,
rained on him. The Red Rocket.
Red right. I thought it was Red Rifle.
Red Rocket. Red Rifle.
The Red Rifle. You found the fountain of youth, man. I don't know.
There you go. But no, you know what's interesting? You mentioned this guy, Devontae Adams, going to
New York.
The Jets. Jerry Jones don't got a phone?
They can't afford him.
They can't?
Yeah, they don't want to. They don't want to pick up that contract. Trust me, like that's a non-starter. That ain't happening. That ain't happening.
They don't want to pull a Dion. They don't want to pull a Dion.
Maybe they could give the Cleveland Browns a call and bring Amari Cooper back for a 5th round pick. Boy. Oh, my bad. They don't do that. for a fifth rounder.
If the Jets could do it, like, can they, like, realistically, can that be a possibility to make it happen?
I mean, it's possible. I don't know what the Raiders are going to ask for. Like, you would hope that it wouldn't be a first rounder, because I don't think the Jets can afford to do that. This is probably going to take at least a 2. But I mean, we've been talking about it the entire time. I'm sure the Jets could do it. It's just going to be a matter of, does he go to the Raiders? He's got to go to the Raiders and say, I want out. I think when that happens, then you can have that conversation. But until then, like, we're just talking about something that's non-existent right now.
Who's your MVP candidates after week 3 right now?
I mean, who's killing it right now? Like, I feel like the quarterback play is it's not really what it was, right? You got to put Mahomes up there. He's still like, ball in his hands. He shows he's still the most dangerous. I mean, you mentioned your boy Darnold. I think he deserves some votes.
That's right.
Ravens will probably win more games, so I think Lamar is going to be in the conversation. And you got to put Josh. You got to put Josh, because look what he just did to these dudes on Monday night. Like, so I think that's where the conversation is at the moment.
I'll probably say Josh, Sam, Pat Mahomes.
Other than Sam, it's the usual suspects. Like, and McCaffrey's hurt, so I don't know that he's going to pull himself into that conversation, and that's worrying, by the way, for San Francisco. I don't know how that's going to play out.
Teams that can push the panic button now, I would say Bengals.
Oh yeah,
Jacksonville.
The Bengals might not be good, man. Like, they may not be good,
and they're not even paying Chase, and they're not good.
But you want to talk about cheap owners? Go look at that franchise, man. That's the cheapest of them all, right there. They don't like to give out money there at Cincinnati. Do not like to do it.
And I know they're hurt, but does San Fran start pressing the button, or just wait it out, get McCaffrey back, get Debo back, get Kittle back, and we'll be good? Or, like, because they're right here, but you see other teams doing better.
Well, the fact that Seattle came out kind of hot is that's a problem for them. But listen, I'm not gonna call San Francisco dead until I see the body, right? Like, they're like a movie villain, man. They've had slow starts over the years, but they figure it out. They got a good coach. Like, he makes it work, because it ain't like they got studs on their offensive line. They got Trent Williams and a bunch of just guys, you know. So they make it work. The kid Mason, who has stepped in for McCaffrey, he looked good so far. So I think they could tread water there until they start getting guys back healthy. They still got the defense. They'll get Greenlaw back at some point off the Achilles. So, I mean, until I see San Francisco dead, I'm not going to count them out. I still think, if healthy, they're the best team in the NFC.
And before Denny goes, one more panic button team, Miami Dolphins.
Y'all ain't got a quarterback if you Miami, bro. Y'all got real problems. Like all the joking aside with Tua, like, that's a scary situation. I don't know what he's gonna do. I think I know what he should do. I'm not sure he's gonna do it, but, like, quarterback wise, they got problems. They may have to make a call. Look at Pittsburgh. Maybe Pittsburgh wants to unload Russell Wilson. I don't know, but they're not in a good spot, Miami, and they should be worried. They should be worried.
What does Carolina do with Bryce Young?
Good question.
I think I gotta tell you, I think that's done there. I think they've given up on him already. They're not saying that publicly, because, of course, they're not saying that publicly because they can't. But after that, just popping in Dalton, who ain't had a game like that, and I can't remember the last time Andy Dalton played a game like that.
Yeah.
I mean, Bryce wasn't doing anything with that offense, man. Like, I think they've got a good offensive mind there. Dave Canales running the show. Yeah, man. I don't like unless something happens to Andy. I don't think Bryce is getting his job back. And then, that's remains to be seen how good or bad that team is. I lean towards bad, of course, just based on track record. But, like, if that team is in position to get another quarterback next year, I think they do it.
Well, maybe this is a good time for him to learn maybe it's a good time for him to get his bearings and actually do an Aaron Rodgers situation, sit back and get prepared, and then all of a sudden you come out and you go guns blazing. But
that's a real good point right there that you bring up, because like I think one of the other trends that was troublesome in the NFL over the past few years is that people expect a rookie quarterback to just come in and light the world on fire. They expect everyone to be CJ Stroud like he did last year, or Dak his rookie year, or Josh Allen when he took. And like, you gotta remember, man, that's the exception. That's not the norm. Like usually if a dude's coming in from college, he's gonna need time to acclimate to the NFL game. Like Aaron Rodgers had it, Pat Mahomes had it. Tom Brady, of course, had it. Like, okay, so I'm that's the three generational quarterbacks of the past 10 to 15 years, right? They sat, they watched, they needed it. And when they came in, they were ready. So like the Josh Allens, the CJ Stroud, that's not normal, man. And you need to like temper your expectations. That's why you need a veteran to keep the seat warm until you're convinced that the guy is ready. Because if you throw him out there and he's not ready, you're gonna wreck him. And I'm worried that we've reached that point with Bryce. Listen, I told you my opinion on Zach Wilson, but I don't think he stood a chance just because of the situation he was in. But again, like I didn't think he would get there anyway. And the list goes on and on and on of guys who got the keys to the Lamborghini. They were not ready to drive it. They didn't have any driving lessons, and they crashed the Lamborghini. So
I think it's fair to give quarterbacks 3 years. I think it's fair to say after 3 years, whether it's 0-16, 5-12, whatever, give them 3 years. And then, now mind you, also too, it's the NFL, right? You got guys 3 years in, 3 different offensive coordinators. You got 3 different centers. You got 3 different, there's no consistency. So of course it's a matter of you may not even be playing well with the inconsistencies that's going on in the behind the scenes. But give them 3 years, let them work, and then you can say, we've seen 3 years of this. It's not looking right. Let's look into getting a veteran here, maybe drafting a veteran, getting in there and turning left. But the greats have all stumbled out the gate. Eli Manning, John Elway,
Troy Aikman, Peyton Manning.
Troy Aikman, yeah. Peyton Manning was trash. You know how funny that sounds too when I say it too? It's so hilarious. But there was a period where people were asking questions like, hold on. This Tennessee guy? This your king? I don't know. And it took some years in Indianapolis, okay, for him to shake off those cobwebs. And then obviously went to Denver. You know the story. The rest of his history.
Yeah. So, Ray, before I let you go in a few, it kind of brings to my point now with Minnesota. Yeah, they're 3-0 right now. We're looking good right now. We don't know how they're going to finish when it's all said and done.
Boo! Boo!
Don't hate. Don't get mad. Don't get mad. You ain't got no team. You ain't got no team. So you out.
You ain't got a team though.
Ray, it's different conversations for a different day. Don't get this guy started, Ray. Come on, don't get this guy started. We ain't got all night now. We ain't got all night. Now, listen, it's a different conversation for a different day. We'll talk about that off camera.
So Ray, when it comes to Minnesota, and now Darnold's playing well, knowing that we got McCarthy injured for the whole entire year, does he come back? And I mean, because it's a very interesting scenario. If Darnold happens to play well, to win 10, 11, 12 games, do we keep him? Do we contract? Does the McCarthy come off the bench? Does he wait it out? Like, that's a very scenario.
You know what? Like, I hadn't even thought about that. Like, I forgot that McCarthy was there even just because of how this was going down. So that's that's going to be interesting because is Darnold on a 1-year deal? Or is he on did they give him a multi? Look that up for me. I'll try to see because here's the thing. If Sam Darnold just based on these 3 games,
1 year.
Okay, so just based on these 3 games, like unless he just completely crashes and burns from here on, which I don't think is gonna happen. But unless he crashes and burns, somebody's gonna throw a bag at Sam Darnold in the offseason. Whether it's Minnesota or somebody else, they're gonna say, like, hey, Sam, here's $45 million. We want you to come take over. We want you to be our guy. So A, is Minnesota willing to put that type of money when you have the guy on the first round rookie contract? B, do you have the faith that McCarthy, if not Darnold, if that McCarthy could be your guy? Obviously, you got the faith in him because you would not have drafted him in the first round if you didn't feel that way, right? So you got a choice to make, no doubt about it. If you feel that strongly about McCarthy, and obviously you got to feel good about what you got in Sam Darnold, who's still pretty young. That's a dilemma. It's a good dilemma to have, honestly. Because worst case scenario, what you end up doing is, okay, you give Sam the bag. There's not enough tape on McCarthy to make the declaration of whether he's good or not. You could probably get something for him if you decide to flip him, if that's the direction you decide to go. If you give Sam Darnold something more long term, because if you do that, you're basically made the proclamation, okay, this is our guy. Like McCarthy, we drafted you, we had to have you, but like this is the better direction. So I mean, yeah, like that's so. The way I would look at it is, if I was a Viking fan, like, yeah, it's a problem. It's a good problem to have.
I mean, listen, I'm just happy we're winning some games, because I go into every year not thinking Super Bowl and NFC title games. I'm just realistic with my roster. I might have the best wide receiver in the game in Jefferson, but it's like, there is San Fran out there. There is Green Bay out there. There is Dallas out there. There is a lot of good teams that have, that can get there before us. Now I'm thinking like 3 games in, 3-0. My man's MVP, but I know at some point in time, got to come down to earth a little bit. But if we don't,
stuff evens out. Yeah, but like I told you at the beginning, like Minnesota, what they're doing this year is not like what they had done when they had a quote unquote good team in the past. Like, and they get to the playoffs and the Giants embarrass them. Bro, they beat the hell out of the Giants in week 1, and they beat the hell out of San Francisco in week 2, and they beat the hell out of Houston in week 3. Bro, they look good. Like, they look legit, like a legitimate team. It's early. A lot can happen. A lot can go wrong. But like that, this is not the same old Minnesota team. And I don't know if that's because Kirk Cousins was the quarterback on those teams, or there were other issues like defensively. Like, that looks like a complete team that's ready to compete for that division. So good on you. Enjoy the ride, man. Like that, just enjoy it while it's here, because you never know. Speaking as a Dallas fan, man, like once you get to the playoffs, it's a different animal. But enjoy what you're seeing, because what you're seeing is not what you've seen, if that makes sense.
So from this weekend until the end of October, we get Green Bay in Green Bay. We get the Jets. I think it's overseas.
Happy London, y'all got a good game. Look at that.
Wow, that's crazy. 9:30 in the morning. Ooh, I'll be up. We get Detroit in Minnesota, and then we get the Rams in Los Angeles to finish out October. So those 4 games. What's the record after those 4 games, Ray, for the Vikings?
So it's 3-0 now. So you got, listen, every one of those games is winnable. Y'all won in Green Bay before, haven't you? Like, that's so.
Yeah, and then we don't know if
it's early.
Play. We don't know if Love's gonna play.
Yeah, Malik Willis might rain on you. Who knows? But
chill.
listen, they could win every one of those games, honestly. So they got to come out of that at least 5-2, I would think. Like that should be like not doomsday, not worst case, but like like 5-2, 6-1. Like that should be what your goal should be coming out of those games, man. Yeah. That's how I feel. Like, Detroit will be tough. At Green Bay will be tough. The Jets, obviously, that's gonna be a tough game too. Should beat the Rams. You should beat the Rams. I'll put that much. So you're gonna be over 500. I'll put it that you'll be over 500 coming out of those games. You'll be in good shape.
Denny Blanco, any final questions for Ray?
No, I mean, listen, Ray, I'm gonna be every touchdown the Giants score, I'm gonna be thinking about you. And it's gonna be very interesting come tomorrow. Well, it's tomorrow, right? It's gonna be interesting to see what
right here.
Yeah, what transpires. But I want you to always come back to break down football. You need to let us know what's going on with your Dallas team, and when you also officially pull the plug where you're not going to watch them anymore. Usually that may happen.
I'll tell you right now, that's not gonna happen. I will hate watch them if I have to, but I'll watch them. Like that's gonna happen.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it'll.
I like it. All right. Randy, I think we squeezed everything out of this guy. I think we got anger, we got frustration, we got education, right? We got education. So I think we got a lot of emotions out of Ray today.
Okay,
I think
hold
so.
up before Ray. I know sometimes you're a betting man, so let me see something.
All
right, we're gonna go over
How we doing this?
We're gonna go over the entire week 4 schedule. You tell me who you have if you were betting money line for everybody. All right.
All right. Bet.
All right. Cowboys-Giants.
It'll be Cowboys.
Cincinnati and Carolina.
Ooh.
Wow.
Ready.
Go down 0-4 for.
Where's the game? Where's the game at?
Carolina.
I think Carolina.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Damn. You know what? I'm gonna go Cincinnati. I don't feel good about it though. I'm gonna go Cincinnati.
I don't feel good.
New Orleans at Atlanta.
I'm gonna go New Orleans.
I like that New Orleans pick.
Oh, Jacksonville at Houston.
Houston.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jaguars.
Denver at the Jets.
Jets.
Got the Jets.
Minnesota at Green Bay.
I'm gonna go Minnesota.
Okay. Ooh, Randy.
Oh. Pittsburgh at the Colts.
Pittsburgh.
Yes,
it's gonna be Pittsburgh. Yep.
Yeah.
Rams at the Bears.
I got Rams. I got no belief in my
I got Rams. Bears can't do anything offensively right now, so it's gotta be.
Yeah.
Philadelphia at Tampa Bay.
That's gonna be a good one.
Yeah, you know what? Tampa Bay's a good team too, man. They had a bad showing last week, but that's a good team. Don't sleep on Tampa Bay. I think I'm gonna take Tampa Bay since they're home.
New England at San Fran.
I will take San Fran.
Commanders at Arizona, which I like Arizona too. I love Harrison Jr., Kyler Murray. That's a sleeper team for me.
They got some explosives, as the coach would say there in Arizona. Listen, this is the troubling thing with a young team. Like sometimes you have a big win like they had, you ride the emotion a little bit too high. So I'll put the upset there and say that Arizona like sneaks one on them. Not because they're necessarily better, but just because they catch them slipping. So I could see Arizona win. I'll go Arizona.
All right, 3 more. Chiefs at Chargers.
That's Chiefs.
Light.
Browns at the Raiders.
Give me Browns is messed up right now. I think I'm gonna take the Raiders. I'll take the Raiders.
Definitely the Raiders.
I'm sorry, 3 more. Wow. Buffalo at Baltimore.
That's gonna be a good one. Sunday night.
That's gonna be a good one.
That's gonna be a good one.
It's Buffalo until further notice. It's Buffalo until further notice for now. For now,
Buffalo beats them in Baltimore. Interesting.
Yeah.
Tennessee
at Miami.
Ew. Tennessee. I think Tennessee. Tennessee might be the worst team in football, man. But I keep having this argument with Rick and Dave, like that they think that team is better than it is. It's like, oh well, it's the quarterback. Yeah, well, the quarterback is killing you right now, and until they pull him, but again, Miami's quarterback situation might actually be worse. So,
but they got
I'll go Tennessee.
Miami got the better offensive players. Even if it's a bad quarterback, they still got running backs. They still got greater running backs and the wide receivers. So hopefully they can,
that's facts.
Keep the ball running, keep the ball on the ground, and hopefully your quarterback doesn't kill you.
Yeah, you know what? You sold me. I'll go Miami.
And last one, Ray.
Patrick Ramsey running back a pick six, or a fumble six, or whatever Will Levis decides to do this week.
Last one, Seattle at Detroit.
That's gonna be a good one too. I got Detroit at home.
I think Detroit pulls out a tight win
at home. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, listen, man. We love you, man. We appreciate you for coming on. I know you're a Cowboys fan,
man. Thank you.
It's gonna turn around, man. Every
time no, it's not. I have no faith.
Come on, man. I want to do a nice positive outro for Ray, man. He's in the car. You know what I'm saying? Like, just Making sure he's good.
I appreciate that.
Ray Santiago, ESPN New York, MSG Network. I know I'll see you sometime during the season, man. We love you. We appreciate you. And thank you for coming on, man. Thank you.
Appreciate you, brother. See you at the Garden, Denny. Keep repping me, Mark Callis, my dude.
All day.
All right, man. Take it easy.
Appreciate you.
All right.